of great players and the respect that they pass on to each other.
Yeah, I love to see that, the OG give them love, Records are made to be broken, right? And Reggie Miller gave him that love. So that's a great moment, and I'm pretty sure Steph is pretty proud of himself for that as well.
Anybody ever, Steph Curry's going to have this record. We saw James Harden on this list as well. He may get there soon in the 3,000 club with the way he jacks up three-pointers, no doubt about it. But anybody like Steph Curry you ever seen in your lifetime? Reggie was great. Ray Allen became great. Bird, I know he only attempted 3 or 2 threes a game in his career, but he was great. There's nobody like Steph Curry. He's literally changed the game.
He's definitely changed the game. The way he shoots the catch and shoot, off the dribble, ISO, he does it every other way you can, every way you can in the game. So just to see how he scores is just crazy. The ISOs, off the pick and roll.
Relocate.
He does it all. So I've definitely never seen anybody shoot the 3-ball like him.
All right, let's go back out to Fitz and Buki, who called the game here. A rough one for the Golden State Warriors, but the one positive there with Steph Curry.
Well, we began the night talking about whether or not Utah was a title contender. Yes, it's early in the season, but they're breaking NBA records for threes. They play defense. They're all veterans except for Donovan Mitchell, and they play very well together.
When you can watch a team and go, man, I can't find a weakness.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to find a weakness with this Jazz team, and it's tough offensively, so solid, so many playmakers, so many shooters. And then they go inside, outside. They can hit you with the pick and rolls to go bare. Then they kick it out for the three-point shooting. It's so tough to track all the shooters around because they move so well without the ball. And defensively, they're solid too. So this is a legit championship contender.
Well, when you think about it for the Warriors, think of the week for the Warriors. Beat the Lakers, beat the Spurs, ugly one against the Knicks, and then Utah's rolling. They've won 8 in a row. That's the Warriors season right there. 2 great bright spots in the Lakers-Spurs wins and 2 ones, the Knicks and the Jazz. And that's what makes next week so important, because Minnesota twice, and then you're looking at Phoenix and Detroit. There's no should wins, but this is not Lakers, Clippers, Spurs, Utah. This is an opportunity for the Warriors to play better.
And there's going to be games like this game tonight and the Knicks game, and you have to realize that as a player and just stay engaged and make sure you're doing your preparation. You talked about next week, you're going up against the struggling Minnesota team. You would hope to at least have a nice game and come away from those 2 games saying, okay, we played well, and then you live with the results. And then Phoenix, that's a tough team in the West with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. You got your hands full there with that backcourt, and they got some other pieces too, DeAndre Ayton. So they run a lot of pick and roll as well. You're going to have to work on your pick and roll defense.
For sure.
You're going to have to watch a lot of film and figure out where we can get better, guarding the 3-ball, all those different things, guarding pick and roll, and then get that flow back on offense that you had in the Spurs game, the last win.
Yeah, and I think the thing, too, is it's probably a good time to pause for a second and appreciate the brilliance of Steph Curry. Is that passing Reggie Miller, he's going to pass Ray Allen eventually, but, last year with Steph having the broken hand, the fun went out of a lot of Warrior basketball. The fun's back with him.
Yeah.
And, you're missing Clay, which hurts, but at least you're getting to watch Steph every night, and that's always wonderful.
And I saw Steph after he was done with the game, and he was talking to Leandro Barbosa. If I had to guess what was said in there, I'm thinking Leandro probably said something like that. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Just hang in there, fella. And he's playing as well as he can, and he's going to go hard and be aggressive and try to diagnose all these crazy gimmicky defenses that people are throwing at him. This is a really good defensive team. It wasn't really gimmicky tonight. They were just solid, but he still had a really nice game and didn't play in the 4th quarter. So he's incredibly talented and super mentally tough. And that's what you love about Steph. No matter what this season throws at him, his mental game is still going to be on point.
Yeah, so the Warriors 2-2 this week, which was a very weird way to get to 2-2. 4 games next week. Let's see how they handle what should be a schedule that gives them a bit more opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Warriors take on Minnesota in 2 games, Monday and Wednesday night. The back-to-back in Phoenix Thursday, and the Detroit Pistons next Saturday right here at Chase Center. As we look at the Western Conference standings, boy, the Warriors, overnight they dropped down to 8th. Right now they're out of the playoff picture, but it's all about the Utah Jazz tonight. They're right now the top dog up there with the Clippers. Utah's pretty freaking good. They came into the game averaging 16 made 3-pointers per game, which was the top tops in the league. Tonight, they were 20 of 50. They did not disappoint from beyond the arc, and that team is really good. Defensively, offensively, they pass the ball around. They're playing faster under Quinn Snyder. Utah, don't sleep on them, Darrell. They're pretty good.
Yeah, you can't sleep on them. They have a solid team from top to bottom, like Mully talked about in pregame. They got 3-4 guys coming off that bench that are legit starters, you know, in this league that had starter minutes. So this is a good team. They share the ball well. They're well coached. I think Coach Snyder is doing a great job with them. They're running the floor, and it's even. When I check the box score, it's always even. Guys are getting their shots. They're moving the basketball. So it's going to be scary for a lot of guys in the West with the Utah Jazz rolling in.
Yeah, they're a championship contender. They're at the top of the West. And I think they're going to stay there all season long, along with the Lakers and Clippers, because of their experience, the continuity of their roster, the familiarity with each other. And the Western Conference is as deep as all these great teams.
Right.
And I think after 3 and 4, it's going to be a dogfight to the end to see who finishes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we have that play-in situation.
No doubt, yeah.
So you cannot afford to go on an extended losing streak. You've got to do what the Warriors have done up until this point.
Right.
Beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then split or upset some of the higher ranked teams. This has been a tough 2-game stretch. As Fitz and Buki mentioned, we got Minnesota coming in. They've got to take care of business there. And on the back end of that second game, they've got to go to Phoenix, another much improved team with Chris Paul running the show there.
No doubt about that. Detroit, the fighting DeLon Wright's coming in next Saturday. You got to go 3-1 next week for the Golden State Warriors. You want to make the playoffs. You talk about Utah making the threes. Mike Conley Jr., traded last year, struggled with the Utah Jazz. He's back, and he's balling, averaging over 16 points a game. You saw him tonight, and I can't wait to hear.
Guys back in the game, inserting them with the second unit. I think they're going to do their best job at, finding the right combinations. But it's still an early season. It's all about building that chemistry day to day and finding the right combinations that work.
And it wasn't too long ago we were talking about the Utah Jazz as, being a team that should have did better in the bubble.
Right.
But they played without Bogdanovich.
No doubt.
So they plugged him back in, but it's easy for them. He's been there.
Right.
Mike Conley had a tough first season with Utah. Now he's acclimated to that. And also now you look at the bench. You got Joe Ingles.
Right.
You got Derek Favors, Jordan Clarkson. And you can just see by the way the ball moves, the spacing, a lot of these things that the Warriors have to go over in training camp. And with the lack of practice time, it's going to take longer. The Utah Jazz, they have that built in.
Right, no doubt.
Their roles are defined. The pecking order is defined, Darrell, with Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert. And I think their bench, they're experienced. We mentioned it. They're starters playing off the bench.
No doubt. There's a really good bench here with Favors, a veteran here with 9 points and 8 rebounds tonight. Joe Ingles, as you mentioned, a very good defender coming off the bench, and he can run the point guard. He defends at a high level. Ask Paul George about that. Utah's pretty good, especially from the three-point line, but on both ends of the floor, really a sound team. And you talked about moving the ball. Darrell, they had 28 assists tonight, and they had it hopping early on when they jumped out to a 14-0 lead.
Yeah, they love sharing the ball. Like we were talking during the break, we were just talking about how they play like a European team. When I went to Europe, these are how the teams play in Europe. They move the ball, they make the extra pass, they take great shots, not good shots, great shots. So they do a good job with that, and their superstars understand that, and they all bought in. So that's what it takes to be a winning team, when everybody's buying in and everybody has the same goal. Done though.
He tied it in the first half, Darrell, but he got it done in the third quarter there. You saw Looney there with a three-pointer as well. Looney with a 3. Hopefully, we'll see where he goes here, but the Warriors get blown out in Utah. Let's hear from the head coach, Steve Kerr, on this loss tonight against the Utah Jazz. He's going to react. Can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, Utah came out on fire. They executed their offense beautifully. We weren't rotating well, but they really spaced us out. And 14-0, before you knew it. And I think you said 19-2. So it was a rough go out there. And we climbed back in it. Our second group did a good job getting back in it, but obviously it was not our night.
ESPN kind of uncovered a stat about Steph in that starting lineup. His usage rate, is significantly lower in that lineup. Why do you think that is? And is that an issue if he's just used a lot less in a particular lineup?
Well, I think, there's a lot that goes into all that. We see all the numbers and all the combinations, and there's plenty of theories that we could talk about, but I'm going to leave that for you guys to assess and figure out. We talk about everything internally, obviously, as a coaching staff, and we're well aware of combinations that are working, that aren't, well aware of Steph's usage rates.